Coach, how did the guys bounce back this week? Did you like what you saw with the guys in practice this week?
Yeah, they were upset. Resiliency and coming back from a loss. There's been a lot of good things said by the players, and we definitely had really good speed in practice on Tuesday and Wednesday. That's one thing we can chart and see kind of where our top ends have been compared to other weeks, and the guys were flying around. It's the first real game week where we've had a normal Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday to get ready. We had an elongated period for the first game, obviously an extra couple days coming out of the second. So to get back into the normal game routine was a little bit on Tuesday for them, and I'm glad we're in it now. It's good to be in a routine with these guys, and I like the resiliency of the team. Now it's time to prove it.
Tech, defensively, I think they're 3-3-5 as well as y'all, but I think there's some differences. Just how's that been preparing for that?
Yeah, there's similarities obviously with the personnel being 3-3-5, but the coverage scheme and the alignments, the pressures are all different than our defense. And D coordinator's been doing it a long time, so you can go back and watch his film at other schools and kind of see the DNA. He does a good job. It's very sound. His guys know where to line up. They play hard. And it's been a good week of prep that way. It's one thing going from 4-down fronts to 3-man fronts when you never see it. We see it every day. So there is carryover, in how we block certain looks and things like that.
Does it help at all? Every year you always play a team that might have two quarterbacks playing. And obviously this week could be one of those weeks. Does that help to kind of get it out so guys learn what it's like to prepare for two different quarterbacks?
Yeah, these two guys aren't that different as far as what they play like. It's, obviously they have a starter and a backup for a reason. But it's not like one of them's a drop back guy and one of them's Lamar Jackson, right? Like you have two guys that run a similar style of offense. So it's not as different as it would be if they were completely different athletically. What makes this more unique, which I said earlier in the week, is that it's game 3 with one game there on film. That's usually by game 3, you've got a little bit more information, and in today's age with so many new players, they have 8 new transfer starters on defense, you just don't have the film, that you normally would. So this will be a game with them having a bye and us not, with a lot of adjusting.
The guys said that they called a meeting together just to kind of air things out. Was that something they did on their own, or you suggested? And are you happy that they?
No, I'm real happy. One thing I get to do with captains, with guys that want to lead better, is have these one-on-one talks. And a lot of the times it's, Coach, what do you think I should do? What's a good way for me to help this player? Or what do you think I need to say? And for me, it's what do you think needs to be said? And sometimes it's something that needs to be said with just those guys in the room so that they can go into certain things that they don't want to say maybe in front of the staff about themselves, and call each other up and challenge each other and get on the same page. That's healthy. It's really healthy. And so, our captains, Davin asked if he could do that, and heck yeah. That's something that's happened here for years, and I think it's a healthy thing on a football team. And it's not always after a loss. Sometimes you win a big game and you can feel guys are feeling themselves, and they need to remind them what it takes to win. So that's a captain's responsibility, is to know when it's time to step on his platform and talk.
And I think you've talked about before being vulnerable.
Yeah.
And can you explain more about what that entails with that?
Yeah, it's talking about your life away from being a football player more than anything. What your hardships are, what's your heroes, what's going on in your life, things that are going on, with you as a person, bringing stories up from your past, something we do as coaches with them as well. And I think that just creates a different relationship, when it's not just football. And so we're very intentional about not just doing that when it's scheduled, but allowing guys, when they need an opportunity to talk. And you can read these guys and they can read us. There's times where you want to vent and let things out, And so being in a space where you're going to be respected and loved for doing that, it's something that we cherish here, yeah.
Going off that, you talk about the chemistry off the field is really good. How have you seen the on-field chemistry continue to grow after watching, be able to watch the film back in Tennessee and use that?
It's a work in progress, I think, and when you have 41, 42 new players, it's not something that you just snap your fingers and fix. You've got to have reps, and game reps are the most important when it comes to that, because that's where you really see what's going on when the bullets are flying out there, per se. So it's going to get better and better, and this is a team that has to improve each week, and that's what this week's about. It's about responding.
We don't talk a lot about Sean Hill, but what kind of leader is he for this team, and how have you seen him grow?
Yeah, Sean's a tremendous teammate, and he's a leader on campus outside of the football team. You know, what he does with Wolfpack and Power, and what he does on our campus, what he does away from our campus. You know, going to different things that he can go to learn and grow, and bringing ideas back to his teammates. He cares a lot about what's going on in that locker room. He cares about his brothers. He cares about his coaches. He's a tremendous young man, and it's great to see a guy that, you know, he's not playing on game day, but his impact is felt throughout the locker room, and you love seeing that player.
You guys did some things during fall camp, even off campus, to help with team building. How does that help when maybe a team's facing adversity? How do those experiences help bring them together?
Yeah, I think time spent, you know, you can invest money, obviously. That's a short-lived feeling. I think time and memories are long-lasting, you know, when you invest time. And so being intentional about those things where you have memories together and you remember being in a bunkhouse in the middle of the woods, you remember things that you did, you laugh about those things, it just brings back locker room conversations, dining hall conversations. Remember when we did this, remember we did that. Without those opportunities to grow and learn about each other, then what do you have? You have practice, you have meetings, you know, and so I have to create life experiences for them outside where they get to know the ins and outs of who people are, and some of it's not good, right? I mean, you learn, hey, this guy needs to be more accountable, this guy is not doing what's asked of him. You learn about these guys, and we don't play the game, they play the game, you know, and they have to be able to hold each other to a standard on that football field. And the leadership every year changes, you know, and last year we had a young man that did that really well for us in Peyton, and now these 4 captains are in that situation, and it's their opportunity now. And I'm excited to see them take a hold of what they can and go out there and play well and lead well.
How much does it help that 30 plus years, 20 plus years, your staff? I mean, they've seen it all, done it all.
Yeah.
You know, how much of an asset is it this time where they can say, like, this is what worked in the past?
Yeah, you can lean on what you've learned over time. We've all in this business failed. We've all in this business succeeded. So you can go back to this happened this year, and this is what we did, and it didn't work. This is what we did, and it did work. We have a great room of coaches that has a lot of information when it comes to how to handle situations, and those talks are valuable for me, you know. And this is a program that has always responded, and so that's the challenge that us and the coaches have is a lot of these guys haven't been here, you know, so it's easy for me just to say that. Like, you have to show them what that means. You have to teach them what that means. And the guys that have their blood in the bricks here, they've been here for a long period of time, have to help their teammates understand that.
That's a couple questions for Coach.
I'm not sure if you've seen the plans for the entertainment complex out here, but I wanted to see what your thoughts were and how it could possibly enhance game day environment and help with recruiting in the future. Yeah,
I haven't seen it. I've heard a lot about it, excited about it. You know, obviously having a space over here that not just helps the game day atmospheres for hockey, basketball, and football, but also when we bring recruits on campus, and now you have a lively, you know, outdoor center with different places you can take them. I think it's great. And I don't know when it's going to be finished, and to be honest with you, it's the last thing I'm thinking about right now.
You mentioned making in-game adjustments against Louisiana Tech. You've gotten to do that for 2 games now with the tablets on the sidelines. Did that have as great of an impact as you were expecting going into the year?
For us, it does. You're able to diagnose that, what's going on, and so you can try to make real-time changes in what's going on. Here's how we're fitting this wrong. We need to fit it like this. So you can immediately make those corrections. Now you still have to execute. But I do love the information that you have. Like, there's no, oh my gosh, I wish I would have known that, which that happens. Because this game goes fast. I mean, your offense, defense, sometimes there's a turnover in one play and the defense doesn't have a lot of time, or vice versa. We get an interception, the offense is right back out there. So being able to immediately diagnose a problem is really nice for a coach. And then for the players, just slowing it down, getting rid of the emotions from the last series, and being able to look at that play and say, okay, here's what I got to do better. One more.